Okay, I guess we're... Can you hear me? All right, I guess we're going to get ready to get started here. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you could stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ann Yanatelli, and I am the town clerk, and I will be moderating this candidates night this evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to hear our candidates and for the upcoming election. Citizens having the right to choose their leaders through election is one of our most sacred values. Before we get started, I have a few people that I would like to thank. I'd like to thank all the candidates for running for office and for taking time to be here tonight. I'd like to thank the local cable company, in particular Ben Smith, for providing coverage so all residents would have an opportunity to view it this evening. Thank you to the Council on Aging, particularly Mary Graff, for allowing us to use this facility tonight. And thank you to the Town Administrator's Office, in particular Dave Gagney and Jackie Flaherty, for coordinating and the schedule of events and planning the night. Tonight's candidates for non-competitive races will be given approximately 3 to 5 minutes to present themselves to you, the voters, and explain why they are running. There will be no questions for them for their running unopposed. After these candidates speak, we will hold a 20 to 30 minute debate for the Board of Selectmen race, as it is the sole contested race. As town clerk, I will moderate the event. If anyone has any questions pertaining to the Selectmen's debate, please write them down and hand them to the town administrator seated over there, and I will ask the questions to the candidates. I will go over the rules for the debate before we start with the candidates for Selectmen. But first, we will have the candidates for the unopposed race to speak. The first one to speak will be Hugh Hurley. He's running for re-election to the planning board. Hugh. You want to stand here or sit?
I'm going to stand.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie. And thank everybody, all of you, for coming out. It wasn't the best night to come out, but it's New England. Even though it's springtime, it's still New England. I'm Hugh Hurley. I'm running for re-election to the planning board. I'm a lifelong resident of the town. I've been married going on 48 years. Now I've got 2 children that are grown and left. I'm a retired land surveyor, so I have time to do some of these things that I do. I don't know how I have enough time, how I ever had enough time to work, because I've been certainly keeping pretty busy of late. I'm also a water commissioner, although this year I'm not up for re-election. I am up for re-election as on the planning board. I've been on the planning board for 29 years. Since the early 90s, I've been its chair. The planning board is set up. Initially it was done to make sure that all houses had proper access, because at one time they were cutting up very small lots and putting houses out behind other houses and having a right of way to get out. And it wasn't so much in a little town like us, but in some of the cities it became a problem. So the state legislature came up with the Subdivision Control Act, which is the basis for what the planning boards do. We also are the special permit granting authority for the water resource area, and we also do a site plan review of all new commercial, not residential, but all new commercial development in town. As I said, I've been on it for 29 years. I got my first start as I'm looking out at the audience as a fence viewer. It was Mrs. Wally's in the audience, and she was one of the fence viewers, and they had some pretty contested things going on at the time, and the Board of Selectmen, Elder Marrera being the only one left from that era, put me on the fence viewers, as a fence viewer. So that was my start in politics. After that, I was a member of the Conservation Commission for a number of several years, and then I got on the planning board. I was involved with the recodification of the zoning bylaw in the early 90s. Our bylaw was kind of a mishmash of something that started in the early 50s, and it was on different pieces of paper, different fonts. Some of the copies were getting kind of worn out. You could hardly read them when they were copying them out. So there was a committee form that we went through and we codified everything. And one of the other things I was on was the school building committee, this very building. Although I don't take any credit for it, I think probably about 99% of the credit went to Vic Flaherty, who we came up with a design. We had to do it through the state mandates, all these things. We had to do it through it, and we couldn't afford it. The design the architect came up with was about twice what it would cost, but between Vic Flaherty and the committee also and town council, we were able to come up and get this building together. I think the reason I bring it up is not to take credit for it, because it certainly was Vic's bit, but I learned something. It was a very eye-opening experience, and I see we have some new people running for office, and I've always told people that you get more out of it than you put in. You learn a lot, you're able to do things, and you have a certain satisfaction that you're doing something well, and I hope that the other candidates also feel that way. And I'm getting the hook over here, so with that I'll close. Thank you very much. Oh, one other thing. As Annie told you, I'm running unopposed, but I would still appreciate your vote. I ask you all to vote for me, because that's what we're there for. We want to be appreciated. So I hope that you will see fit to vote for me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Hugh. Next we have Tom Snell. Sorry, stop trying that again. Tom Snell, Water Commissioner, running for re-election. Sorry, that's my nerve.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. I'm the candidate for re-election to the Water Commission. I'd like to continue with the two other water commissioners to bring you the town of West Bridgewater quality water for a reasonable price. We've done quite a few improvements over the last few years, painting 2 water tanks. We've had the new water tank up on Walnut Street built, and we oversee the operations of the water department. So I appreciate your vote on election day. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Next we have Bruce Holmquist, who's running for re-election for Constable.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bruce Holmquist. I'm running for re-election for Constable. I've been a Constable for 10 years. I was appointed Constable when the late Nicky Sola passed away, and I've been elected 3 other times. I've lived in town all my life except for about 3 years. I'm a volunteer football coach over the high school for 15 years. I'm chairman of the board for the Council on Aging, chairman of the board for the Emergency Fund, on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Attended classes at Mass State Police Academy, Southeast Mass Police Academy, Plymouth County Police Academy, and I appreciate your vote and I'd like to continue on being a constable. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. And next we have Ashley Warren. She's running for library trustee.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ashley Moore. I'm a 7-year resident here in West Bridgewater after a brief stint in Brockton. I'm running for the 1-year library board position. I'm currently the president of the West Bridgewater PTO. I've been in that position for 3 years. I'm also a member of the Rose L. McDonald Improvement Council, and I look forward to your vote. Thank you.
We had 2 other candidates that were supposed to be here. I don't see Brad Fiasco is he here, or Patrick Gallagher. Okay. I guess now we'll begin the debate for the candidates for the Selectmen race. So if they, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who came out, all the non-competitors who come out. They did a great job with their speeches, and we will move on to the race. I will give you the rules for the Selectmen's debate. The candidates will each get 3 minutes for an opening statement and 3 minutes for a closing statement. Each candidate will get 2 minutes to respond to any question. When there's 1 minute left, the town administrator will hold up a green card informing the candidates. When the time has lapsed, the town administrator will hold up a red card. At that time, I will ask the candidate to stop talking. At the beginning of the night, each candidate drew a number. The person who chose number 1 will decide which table he prefers to sit at and will make the opening statement. The person who chose 2 shall decide next and speak the next opening statement, and the person who chose 3rd shall go last. The questions will be asked in an alternate pattern, hopefully, if I can keep it straight. The initial answer response limited to 2 minutes for each. If a candidate is asked a specific question, he will answer it, and then the other candidates will have the opportunity to provide their own answer. The closing remarks will be 3 minutes. I please ask that you refrain from applause or other emotional outbursts during the debate. Remember that only questions that are handwritten and given to the town administrator will be allowed. No direct questioning to the candidates will be allowed. I reserve the right to reword or not ask a question if I feel that it would be detrimental to this process. And not all questions may be asked if time does not allow it. I will do my best to be sure that a wide range of questions and concerns are covered. So if I can ask the candidates for Selectmen to come up now and take their seats. Okay, so the first one to give his opening remarks will be Anthony Kinahan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Kinahan, and I am a candidate for Selectman. I would first like to thank the Office of the Town Administrator for putting this event together, Mrs. Inatelli for moderating, the Council on Aging for hosting, and Ben Smith and the Cable Access Channel for recording it. Let me start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in West Bridgewater, and now I own a home here. I have a bachelor's degree in finance from Bryant University, and I am currently a student at Northeastern University seeking my MBA. I'm about 2/3 complete with that. Professionally, I am the budget analyst for the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority. My main role is to oversee the development of the annual budget, which totals about $100 million. Aside from that, I'm also tasked with the responsibility of working with department heads to improve organizational efficiencies. I spend much of my time with the department heads in order to increase revenues, decrease expenses. And I think that this is exactly what the town needs in a selectman, someone who already does this on a daily basis. I've also worked as a mediator for a program in the Brockton District Courthouse. I think that mediation is a great tool to have in your belt, especially dealing with union negotiations for the town. In 2010, I completed the Reserve Police Academy and went on working for a couple of years for the town of Orleans as a special police officer. I think that public safety experience is essential for someone in today's world where public safety is such an important service to the town.
I want to be your selectman to give back to the town and keep the town on track to grow. I am in my 3rd year as a member of the West Bridgewater Finance Committee. The Finance Committee has the important role of vetting the budgets and making recommendations to the town at the annual town meeting. Our goal has been to keep expenses as low as possible while keeping a high level of services to the town residents. I think it's time for the next generation to step up and no longer accept the status quo. West Bridgewater needs commercial growth, we need infrastructure improvement, and we need fiscal responsibility and mimic private sector business. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to the rest of tonight's discussions.
And next, we'll go with Paul Marin.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Can all hear me okay? It's a beautiful night, beautiful spring night here, so let's enjoy ourselves. This is the second most exciting part of the town election process, topped only by election day itself. This will probably help me. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about me. I was born and raised here along with my 3 brothers and sisters. My dad was a World War II Marine, veteran, and a letter carrier here for 15 years. My mom was a homemaker with many talents, cooking, sewing, and keeping 6 kids in line. I attended West Bridgewater schools along with my brothers and sisters and graduated from Southeastern Vo-Tech. At 21, I started my own electrical contracting business right here in town. I met my beautiful wife 10 houses away from my own. We've been married 32 years and have raised 3 great kids. My oldest son is a sergeant in the Marine Corps. My daughter is soon to be graduate from BSU with a teaching degree. My youngest, who's only 11, right now wants to be a biologist. As a product of a small town upbringing, thanks to my future-thinking, city-bred parents, I was able to grow up in a safe, secure, and peaceful environment. A place where I was able to know almost every kid from my graduating class, many of whom I still see here in town raising their own kids, just as we were raised. I grew up to love and respect my town. It has so much to offer, a multitude of small businesses, convenient highway access, farm stands, wildlife, and enough exciting history to blow your mind. But I see that slipping away with the onslaught of regulation, of forced public housing, ever-increasing traffic issues, and a growing tax burden. Our town has reached a plateau. We need to tighten our belts and become more fiscally conservative, just as our forefathers were. I don't think we are being fiscally responsible. We make poorly researched decisions on equipment purchases, building repairs, contracts for employees, pretty much everything. I want the people of this town to get involved. I want people to feel comfortable visiting the town hall for information, permits, tax questions, whatever they need. Our own town boards need to open the door to businesses along the 106-28 corridors. And we need to stop taxing businesses to death. Soon a small cheese pizza will cost $12, and you can see where that will go. I know I have the experience and grit to lead this town back on track, to keep our elderly homeowners here, not taxed out of their lifelong homes. They are our history. Talk to them sometimes, they don't bite. We need to maintain our public buildings, keep our schools top-notch, and keep our streets safe with solid, thought-out fiscal decision-making. I'm damn sure I can do this job. My heart is here in West Bridgewater just like it's always been. I'm excited for the opportunity to serve this town as well as it served me. Thank you.
And our 3rd candidate is James Benson.
Thank you. Thank you to Dave Gagney, Jackie Flaherty for organizing tonight's event, to the Council on Aging for the use of the facility, and to Ben and his staff for coverage on cable. And most of all, thank you to you, the voters of West Bridgewater, for being here this evening. I'm not going to bore you by reading my obituary. It's on the card on the table here, so feel free to take one when you leave. West Bridgewater is a great town, a great place to live, work, and to play. But we are a small town, small in area, small in population, and we have big town issues to deal with. perhaps one of the largest being to keep West Bridgewater affordable for its residents and for its businesses, while maintaining a high degree of services and amenities that you, the residents, need, want, and expect. Among the ways to keep West Bridgewater affordable is physical constraint, looking at all expenditures, considering alternatives, thinking outside the box at times, all things that I will commit to as a member of the Board of Selectmen. We are an old town, and I don't mean old in historical terms. We're old in demographic of our population. According to the 2010 census, the median age of a West Bridgewater resident is 43.9 years. That doesn't sound old, but we're higher than our neighbors. East Bridgewater is 40.5, and Bridgewater, somewhat influenced by the university, is 35.8. Our households are almost equally divided. 817 households have inhabitants under the age of 18. 815 have inhabitants over the age of 65. These demographics bring unique concerns. How do young families afford to live in town and continue to choose West Bridgewater as a place to live? And how do our seniors, many lifelong residents, continue to live in a place they love and feel safe in? The Enterprise recently ran an editorial expounding upon how communities will need to deal with just the housing issues of the elderly going forward, as this group is now the fastest growing demographic we have. This is something this town will have to look at carefully. Many residents and town leaders say one way to keep West Bridgewater affordable is to bring in more business. While this is true, we must also be affordable to attract business. We have a split tax rate, and our tax rate for business is in excess of $29 a thousand. Our neighboring towns of Bridgewater, East Bridgewater, and Easton have single tax rates, while Brockton is higher than us. I'm not advocating a single rate, but we do need to look at the cost of what it costs to do business in West Bridgewater, what services we offer, and how we can make West Bridgewater affordable to attract quality businesses that are a vibrant part of our community. We need to work harder with the City of Brockton to bring a sewer connection to our Manley Street industrial area, and I feel my connection with the Brockton political and business leaders can help move this process along. In conjunction with Brockton, we need to work on developing the Shaw's Kmart Plaza area. Both communities have made this a priority, and I have been involved in meetings on the Brockton side as a director of the Campella Business Association and a member of the Campella Main Street Steering Committee. I believe I can work cooperatively with our two sitting selectmen, and I thank you for being here tonight and ask for your vote on Saturday. Thank you.
Okay, great. I did receive a number of questions ahead of time, so I'm going to start with those, and if anybody else has any questions that they'd like to pass on to the town administrator, you can do that at any time while we go forward. The first question that I received, I actually received two questions that are very similar on the same subject, so I'm going to kind of combine the two questions. I'm going to start with, we'll start with Vic and we'll work our way down. You each have 2 minutes to answer the question. The first one says, if you live in West Bridgewater, you must be aware of the problem we have with careless application and storage of treated sludge on farmlands and the failure of farmers to comply with state regulations on this application. If you go anywhere near the southwest end of town, near the rivers and swamp, there are times when the smell can bring tears to your eyes. It is being applied in excessive amounts. Stockpiles exist on wetlands in violation of the state law. If elected, what would you propose as immediate solution to begin to a long-term solution that may take several years? The second question says, I would like you to work locally to solve the current sludge dilemma in West Bridgewater. And how would you do it so that the health of West Bridgewater townspeople, farmland and environment and water is ensured? Vic?
Well, I'm not really that familiar with the sludge issue. I've just heard about it a little bit, and I don't know why we're taking in all this sludge, and whoever's supposed to police that is who should be taking care of that. Is the state responsible for how much sludge we take in and how do we store it? Or I thought we were supposed to be spreading it out on the fields in a reasonable manner, or to get rid of it, I don't know. But I would imagine that we have to find out who polices it and get them to police it.
Anthony?
Okay, well, I can definitely smell the issue. I think that it's necessary to work with the Board of Health and the EPA to better regulate the sludge on the farmland down there. And basically, if it comes to fining them for not being in accordance with the regulation, then that would be the only option. Although I hate to see farmers being fined because it's a tough business, but if that's what we have to do, then that's what we have to do.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Probably a year or so ago, whenever the meeting was held, I was at the meeting at the town hall in which the Carneys were present because they were the source of where the sludge was coming from. I don't remember all of the details of the meeting, but it went back and forth, the pluses, the minuses, what the rules were. There were several farmers from the community there. Certainly there's concern for the farmers, there's concern for the neighbors. I too have seen it, I've smelt it. I think the big thing is that it has to be handled according to what the laws are, and at the same time being researched to go on whether it is something to safely continue, not just to stop it based on rumor and innuendo, but to do research, to follow the rules, to listen to the farmers, and to get everyone involved. Conservation, Board of Health, the Agricultural Commission, and to come to the decision that's best for the town.
Great, thank you. The next question I have, I'll start with Anthony. What are the reasons I should vote for you instead of other candidates, and what is the most important quality that you possess that would make you a great selectman?
I'd say the reason you should vote for me is because of my experience working directly with department heads. That's the role of a selectman. They are essentially the board of directors and oversee the town's policies. They aren't there to micromanage. My job at work is to work with department heads to improve efficiencies, to improve policies, and I think that this direct experience is why you should vote for me for selectman. I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
What important quality do you possess?
I'd say one of the most important qualities I possess is being a good decision maker. Decision making takes time, and I think that you can't rush into a decision. You have to be thoughtful, do the proper analysis. I'd say that's my best quality about me.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
I have a lot of experience. I will say I'm the oldest one running for the office. Not by much, but by a little bit. I have 30 plus years in the lumber and building materials industry, in industrial organizations within that business, and I have experience with other municipal offices, town moderator, historic commission, past library trustee, as well as involvement in the city of Brockton and several of their committees that are now looking at ways to enhance the city, especially the south end. And I think my quality that I bring to the table is organization, leadership, and experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Vic?
Well, I'm really not in the circle of being a politician, and I live outside of this box of hanging around town hall. So I think my experience of being outside in the field and in the world and being with other businessmen and feeling what goes on and talking to taxpayers, I work in their houses, I hear a lot of information, and it makes me want to solve those problems, makes me want to bring some of the boards closer together, that, you know, we're all making decisions together, and I think that's what kind of selectman I want to be.
Okay, thank you. This one, we'll start with Jim. What is your vision for the future of West Bridgewater?
I think that hopefully it's a positive vision. All cities and towns face the same issues today: rising costs, stabilized populations. We're not a big town geographically. There is a time when we're going to run out of land to build quality houses on. The big thing is going to be how we can keep West Bridgewater, and I think the vision is how we keep West Bridgewater affordable. I think that without planning today for the future, that we're not going to be able to sustain ourselves as an independent community forever. And again, I think that's an issue a lot of towns and even cities are going to face. But the vision is that we have good people, good residents, we have a top-class educational system. We have what it takes to be a great community. It's just working together and trying to find ways to make it all happen.
Okay, thanks. Vic?
Can you repeat what that question was?
Yes. What is your vision for the future of West Bridgewater?
Well, I think that we have two major roads that pass through the town that are very supportive of businesses and can be supportive of businesses that would help keep our tax base down for the residents, not keeping such a high ratio between residential and business tax rate, but we need to help close it up. Maybe having more businesses would solve that problem. And I think we need to do some things about not just letting people come in and build 40B housing to take care of those problems, but maybe go more into an elderly situation where we're taking care of our own elderly. And I think that would be part of my vision for the town.
Okay, thank you. Anthony?
My vision is to create a place where residents can not only live, but where they can work. I think we lack commercial infrastructure, we lack industry. I think that's where we need to see the most improvement. We need to work towards developing Manley Street and the North Main Street Plaza. And that will not only increase revenue to the town, but it will give our residents a better place to, or more opportunities to work. I think right now we have a superior education system, and although I think we can always work to make it better, what I would say that commercial infrastructure is my vision for West Bridgewater.
Thank you. And we'll start with Vic for this question. What is the first thing you would do when you become the next selectman?
Well, I think the selectmen need to get a raise. No. I think I would like to work on trying to close our gap with how we treat businesses here in town. And I don't know, I guess that's where I would start. That would be a big enough job, I think.
Okay, Anthony?
The first thing I would do is observe. I think it's important to get familiar with every department. I'd want to spend time inside every department, time with the department heads to learn the fundamentals of each department and to get into the nitty-gritty a little bit. I think before, I don't think I can make any changes or anything without first doing that. And that's what my first objective will be, is to learn more about each department.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
I would do as I've done in various places I have worked, and that is to observe, see what's done, see how it's done, research. I think the big thing for the first 60, 90 days is listen. Listening is the most important thing because you're going to learn some of what can be changed, some of what can't be. You have to be open and listen to the employees of the town as well as the residents of the town and the business people. One of the things that I have done as moderator, I felt very strongly that any taxpayer in town should have a right to speak at a town meeting, and businesses, even though they're not voters in town, have always had a right to speak at any town meeting that I've moderated. So I think it's very important to listen to what everyone has to say.
Okay, thank you. And then we're going to start with Anthony. And since you announced your candidacy, have you attended a Board of Selectmen meeting? And what did you gain from attending?
I have. Unfortunately, I was only able to make one in the past month due to having some master's degree classes on those nights. But if I'm unable to attend, I always watch them on online thanks to the local access channel. And I'd say I learned I've been able to watch and keep up with the issues, and having them online has been a great tool to make sure that I'm up to date on all issues.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
I think I've been to one since my candidacy. I've been to a lot of them over time. I too watch them on a regular basis on cable, along with FinCom, Conservation, and anybody else who happens to be on there. And of course, Tim Talk, we can't forget Tim. I think he's here somewhere. But because of cable, it's you know, a good.
Thank you. Vic?
I have not been to any meetings, but I do watch them on the cable channel. That's it.
All right. The next question, we're going to start with Jim. This question, I think, needs just a little explanation for the audience. So I will ask the question and then I will explain it for the audience, and then Jim will start with the question. The question is, what are your thoughts on the Community Compact Program and our recent approval? The Community Compact Program is a program that is a partnership between the governor's office and municipalities, where they can ask for help on different issues that might be going on in the town, and that the governor's office and that will help to give some resources to resolve or to help address those issues. So, and we did put in for a few items and did receive a couple of them. So, Jim, what are your thoughts on that program?
Well, I think any time we can get anyone to help us is great, especially if it comes from above. I think we need to do more of that. We need to reach out not only to the governor's office, but we need to reach out to our own legislative delegation, Michelle Dubois, and currently Senator Joyce. But we also have to go beyond that, because we can use to our ability the legislators of the towns that surround us. Brockton, for example, they have 3 state reps. So we can use all of them to our benefit, because what happens here affects there, what happens there affects here, because we're joined at the hip with our surrounding communities, so we should reach out and take all the help we can get from any of these sources.
Okay, thank you. Vic?
Well, I think that if we can get involved with the governor's office, maybe we can get them to cut back some regulation that aren't helping our town. I think that covers my answer.
Okay. Anthony?
Community Compact's a great program because it's not an unfunded mandate, unlike most state regulations. It's a partnership that we'll now have with the state. Karen Polito, the Lieutenant Governor, has spearheaded this program and worked with more than 150 towns to come up with agreements. Our agreement is specific to economic development, and I think that's going to be a great opportunity. It's a fairly broad agreement, and it will allow us to work to improve the sewer system on Manley Street in order to promote commercial growth down there. So that economic development is essential in this town, and this program is great to accomplish that.
Okay. The next question, we'll start with Vic. What is your understanding of the strategic planning process?
I actually was in the first strategic planning board back in, I don't know what year that started, in the 90s, I think. And I think that they need a little more direction, maybe, and a little help probably from the Selectmen's office, maybe. I think that would help. I think that would help them take care of some issues in the town.
Okay. Anthony?
Well, I know recently, I think it started last year, the Selectmen re-implemented the strategic planning program, and I think it's a great way of helping the town's different committees to accomplish these goals. I know there's many different goals from redeveloping a master plan. There's sidewalks, crosswalks and trails committee. And I think that implementing this program will allow the town to expedite achieving these goals.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
Strategic planning is a good process, it's a necessary process, it's a long process. And I know Selectman Maloney is here tonight, and I think she needs a lot of credit for pushing strategic plan over the last several years to where it is today. I went last week to the sidewalk meeting, and there were about 15 people at that meeting, all with good ideas. A lot of them newer people in town, so it brings some fresh ideas, and I think that even though a lot of these things you can get discouraged because they can be held up by lack of funds, I don't think that we need to stop talking about them and encourage it to move forward in not only sidewalks and other infrastructure, but in other venues as well.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say something to rebut a little bit in there?
If it's okay, and the other candidates will have their chance as well.
I'm not dissing the strategic planning or anything, but we're talking about sidewalks and all that, and we've had 3 traffic light issues that are major that we can't get the state to get moving on them. And strategic planning is talking about sidewalks. I think we all need to get together and take care of major traffic light issues that can solve a lot of accidents and problems that we're having. I think one of them is East Street, one of them is where Nico's restaurant is, and the other one was at Plain Street and Belmont or Matfield. I mean, those are things maybe that strategic planning could be working on, I think. Maybe we have to push the state harder, but I think those need to be issues that are addressed first.
Anthony, do you have anything to respond to that?
I know that the intersection on East Street was part of the community compact, that that portion was not approved, unfortunately, but I think there's other means to accomplish that. But I think that just because those issues need to be achieved, we shouldn't stop talking about other issues. We still have many improvements that can be made with sidewalks, trails, etc. And just because there's a problem on one side doesn't mean we shouldn't stop working on other problems.
Jim?
I agree. I think strategic planning was broken into many different segments. The sidewalk group just happened to be a group that's what their interest is and interested in using. One of the examples the other night was there was a young couple there who have young children who live on Pebbles Street Way, whatever the proper name is, over by the transfer station. And when they bring their young children out for the school bus and that, they have to stand on the side of South Elm Street, which is very dangerous with the amount of traffic we now have bypassing the center, and so their concern is sidewalks. If they lived at the corner of East and East Center, it might be a traffic light, as it was with some people that brought that up at a meeting not that long ago. We are working, I know, with OCPC on these traffic lights. You have to work with the state on the one at Matfield Street, but I think that everything is in the works and that nobody is putting any one thing above something else.
Thank you. And this is the last question. It's actually 2 questions that I received, but they're both the same. So this will start with Anthony. How have you served West Bridgewater? Actually, the second one says in a volunteer or paid capacity. And how will this experience show us what kind of a selectman we can expect?
I've never served in a paid capacity, but I am on the finance committee. This was my 3rd year, and I think that that experience is essential to have for a selectman, understanding the budget process, getting involved with the department heads. And I'm also the vice president of the Lions Club, which is where I volunteer. We do a lot of community activities. We raise a lot of money for the town and for other organizations. I haven't had as many years to do community service as my opponents, but The past few years, I've spent many time to work in the community to help make the town a better place.
Jim?
My time in community service goes back to high school, Boy Scouts in this town, when I organized for several years the annual town cleanup. More recently, I've been town moderator for 7 years, member and chairman of the Historic Commission for probably close to 10 or 12, past library trustee for 6 or 7 years.
Okay, thank you. Vic?
That was a pretty tough crowd, huh? Let's see, I do remember being a part of the playground structure committee there, and with this guy right here. And I worked on a lot of projects for the town that I did get paid for. Lights at South Street Bridge near the Canoe Club, and worked at the town park. What was the second part of that question was?
And how would this make us, what would that, yeah, I forget it now. Oh, I thought I was done. It was what can we expect out of your volunteer for you as a selectman? What can we expect?
I'm going to volunteer my time to be a selectman. I'm going to work hard at it. I'm going to be there for everything I have to be there for and more. I love this town. I'm going to do the best job I can, like I do everything.
Do we have any more questions? Are we done? Okay, we're done. So now, the end of the questions, we'll have closing remarks. They, at the beginning of the night, all pulled a number to see who would go first, and strangely enough, the order was exactly the same. So we will start with Anthony.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement that West Bridgewater is a great place to live. I want West Bridgewater to continue to prosper. I have the financial management experience. The experience I have working with department heads to institute policies is exactly the experience needed in a selectman. I will work hard to make West Bridgewater an even better place to live and work. I want to ensure fiscal responsibility. I want to expedite commercial growth and make West Bridgewater departments as efficient as possible while maintaining a high level of service. I am confident that I have the ability to make careful, thoughtful decisions while serving on the Board of Selectmen. The residents of the town deserve someone who will put the needs of the town first, and I assure you that I will do just that. I would like to thank you all for coming tonight, and I would appreciate your vote this coming Saturday. I want to encourage anyone who has questions to please feel free and reach out to me anytime. My phone number is 508-577-2648, or reach me by email at akinahan89@gmail.com.
Thank you. Vic?
Being a responsible townie doesn't just mean living here. It means participating, voting, and going to town meetings. It means knowing what's going on at the town hall, and being involved in the decision making. Being a selectman or finance committee member or planning board member shouldn't be a man on an island. They should be open to input from the community. Going forward, knowing what I know, I can no longer sit back in the shadows. It's time for me to step forward and pursue this position because I feel it's my duty. For the taxpayers, just voting for me is not enough. I will expect your input on a regular basis. West Bridgewater has a higher tax rate than most surrounding towns. Our residential rate has gone from $14 to $18 a thousand, and our commercial rate has gone from $18 to $29,000 a thousand since 2009. This rate of increase has to freeze. If we increase again, we're going to put businesses and homeowners on their heels. Besides increasing our commercial tax rate, we, the people, with influence from our town boards, voted to increase the meal tax in an effort to pay for the new high school, only to increase the cost for a family to go out for dinner. We have missed several business opportunities in the past, and instead of helping new businesses open, we have decided to lean on our existing businesses and over-regulate them. These are businesses that hire local people and donate to booster clubs and local charities. It's time for new and innovative thinking. It's time for us to think outside the box and do what's right for the people of this town. We need to handle the town money the way we handle our own pocketbooks. I want you to vote for me because I'm ready to work for you and set our sights on the future. Thank you for coming. Drive safe, and God bless West Bridgewater.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you. On Saturday, if you vote for me for your next selectman, I am committed to doing the job, to serving the people of the town of West Bridgewater, residents, non-resident business owners alike. We do need to grow the business base. Business has been a big subject here tonight, but we need quality business in this town. People who have a vested interest, who want to be part of the town. We're getting business in this town that I don't think a lot of us like. And I would invite anybody to drive down Pleasant Street. It's not attractive down there. It looks like we're a waste disposal site for the region. That's not the business we want. We want good business in town. We have to attract that business. We have to give them the things that they want, that they need, so that they can help support you, the residents of the town, to keep the tax rates in check. We need to work with our neighbors to be sure that we get what's best for the region, not just for West Bridgewater, because everything today is regional, everything is local. We do need the help of the state. I will work to the best of my ability for that. I will be available to you, the voters, on a regular basis, and I ask for your vote on Saturday, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. And thank you to the candidates for selectmen. We have one more candidate that has arrived that will give him an opportunity to speak. Patrick Galligan, who is running for Constable.
Good evening. My name is Pat Galligan, running for Constable for the third time. That's always a charm. I'm on other committees in the town. I belong to the West Bridgewater Lions. I have been for the last 6 years. I'm also on the Tri-Town Parade Committee. I just relocated over here to South Street. I was on Orchard Drive before. I had an opportunity to move to another town, and I've really come attached to the town and the people in this area, and that's why I decided to do everything I could to stay here and in this town. I would ask you to vote on Saturday. There were 3 people. There's only 2 of us running for 2 positions now. But even though people say, well, you're getting in, I still believe that I should get out, meet the people, and I want the people to know me. If there's any questions that I could answer for you, please don't hesitate to ask. All right. So I want to thank you for being asked to come here tonight, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. And thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight on this lovely night. And thanks to all the candidates. I know it's tough. I've done it before, and this is tough, too. And remember, come out Saturday, vote, pass the word. I'd love to see a lot of people there. I want to see a high turnout. This town always does a good job in elections, and I'm looking forward to see you there Saturday at Spring Street Schools, and the polls open at 9 a.m. and they close at 8 p.m. Thank you. Have a good night.